This is the download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news of the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Newton Shuttlecotti. Sorry if you can hear my heater in the background. It is currently -5 degrees. Here's what you need to know for today, Thursday, December 12th. First up, the true crime podcast listener landscape. The new report, sponsored by Libsyn, is built from the podcast landscape, the largest public study of podcasting in America, with 5,071 respondents aged 18 and up. Findings include 16% of respondents having consumed a true crime podcast in the past month, which translates to approximately 42 million Americans. Respondents who consume true crime are extremely receptive to brands, both as advertisers and producers of podcast content. 46% of true crime podcast consumers answered more likely to the question, does a company's involvement make you more or less likely to try a new podcast? A 12% more favorable response than non-true crime consumers. Next up, introducing favorite categories in iOS 18. iOS 18.2 is out now and brings with it the ability for podcast audiences to select categories within their Apple Podcasts library, as well as pick categories from home to influence search results and personalize recommendations. With this new focus on categories, Apple recommends podcast creators check that their chosen primary category in Apple Podcasts is accurate to ensure it shows up in category recommendations. Next, we have video podcasting on YouTube hits Milestone, grows in accessibility, and this one has multiple sources. As covered in The Verge, new statistics from YouTube show the platform has cracked 400 million monthly video podcast watch hours on connected TVs, saying audiences are watching podcasts in their living room in the same way TV audiences in previous decades casually consumed late-night TV. Connecting with those audiences is about to become easier as well, thanks to a new AI-powered auto-dubbing feature that will take any video in English, Spanish, French, German, Hindi, Indonesian, Italian, Japanese, or Portuguese and dub it into the other 8 languages. Finally, how the biggest streaming services stack up heading into 2025 by Bill Bradley. 2024 was a big year for streaming in several ways. In January, Prime Video ad space surged onto the market, influencing upfront negotiations and bringing streaming prices back down to accommodate the new inventory. More big names made more concerted efforts to push into sports. Around 50% of Disney Plus signups chose their ad-supported tier. On the free side of the industry, Tubi says it captured 1.8% of streaming in general this October and reached a 19% bump in ad sales over Q3. As for the rest of the news, Tom Webster has posted a reflection on his time in the podcasting industry and what it means. Acast has appointed Martesian Gerrits as its sales director for the Netherlands. iHeartMedia has announced its adoption of Unified ID 2.0, that's UID2, a Trade Desk pioneered framework for audio advertising. Ausha has announced their free alternative to Chartable, Ausha Charts. Lower Street's Brand Podcast Summit is returning for 2025. And yesterday, we published Alex Sujong-Laughlin's prediction that net new, not cheap but not expensive podcasts will grow more difficult to launch in 2024, and Qcode head of growth Thomas Mancusi rebuts with budget data from Qcode's slate. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The download is written and produced by me, Newton Shuttlecotti, Brian Barletta, Gavin Gaddis, and Tom Webster. This episode is hosted on Spreaker. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Newton Shuttlecotti. Download us again tomorrow.